Excited to introduce you to the newest addition to the studio line of paints. What we have here are the small sizes of paints. They are the original sizes of paints, now shrunken down to nice little squeezy bottle sizes, and they come in packs of 5. So we have 3 packs of 5. And you can see all the different colors there. And so they are the same exact colors as the 15 original colors, but what's so great about the squeezy bottle is you have this nice applicator tip here. See if I can get that a little closer for you. And you can use that to just squeeze paint out onto your craft sheet and paint with it as you normally would that way. You can use the tip to make really nice dots. You can also use the tip to draw and things like that. And it's also a great way to apply paint to your foam stamps, which I'm going to be showing you in a second. A couple tips when you are working with this size, an applicator tip for the paint. One thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to mash it when you squeeze out the paint. As you can see here, this one came from a recent trade show. It was completely smashed, and then that means the paint will not come out anymore. So you just want to, when you are putting the paint out, you just want to lightly squeeze it out, no mashing. And you want to always replace the cap. The only thing that can really happen with this paint and this applicator tip is if you don't replace the cap all the way, the paint will dry in the tip. But not to worry, just take a little paper clip, and if that happens, just stick it inside and then you'll be ready to go again. This has only happened to me a couple of times, but the main culprit for clogging is actually bending the nib so that it is bent. So you just want to be careful when you're putting the paint out like that. Now, using these paints, I have discovered a great way to add paint to the foam stamps. And here's just a little, if you haven't seen my foam stamps already, you can see them here. I've got 6 sets of foam stamps. And they are really nice, dense foam. I'm just going to clear off a little space here to show you. Really nice, dense foam. And here's the flower. Now, usually I would put paint out on my surface and stamp all around as if I was potato stamping, and then stamp onto my surface that I wanted to apply paint to. Well, that's great, and it works really, really well, but it does create a big mess. So here's a slightly less messy way to stamp with the foam stamps. Now, I'm going to be stamping onto my sticky back canvas, which is in natural here. So I've got a sheet of that out there. Now, this is the ink blending tool that's by Ranger, and I've just added the foam applicator to the tip. So the foam is the really, really dense one. That's really dense foam. There's also a felt tip, but you want to make sure to use the foam. Now, here's how I add the paint. I'm going to make this just one color to start off with. So I'm just going to squeeze out. I have to hold it in the light for you guys. Squeeze out the paint onto the foam, and then I'm going to use the craft stick to smooth around into the foam. And here I have my my big mister filled with water, and I'm just going to spray that a couple of times to really moisten. Now I'm just going to take this, and this is going to be really light to start off with. I like to work light to dark. Now you can see here, it is a very light coating of paint, and we're going to stamp that down, pressing everywhere. And there you can see a really nice impression of paint. very smooth and even. This way of applying paint is great if you are a little heavy-handed when you're using the foam stamps and you get too much paint on there. If you get all kinds of globs in there and then you stamp, it just makes a big mess. So something else fun that you can do, now here's what I do when I'm done with that color. I just peel it off and I put it in a little Ziploc bag and I save it, and it will stay wet for the rest of the day. It'll be ready to go. So this is great if you're doing a lot of foam stamping and switching back and forth from colors. Now I'll just take a new piece of foam and let me show you the leaf. And what's fun about the leaf is you can add a little bit of green and a little bit of the teal. Now, if I wanted to, I could, of course, still use the jar paint and just scoop it out and place it on there. So if you have the jar paint, you can still use that. I'm going to use some more of this green, but just to give you an idea, you can still use the jar paint and add it that way. The little squeezy bottles just make it so easy. So now I'm going to blend these colors right here on the foam, and you can see I'm going to have one side with the teal and one side with the landscape green, and I'm just going to give it a quick little spray with water and maybe blend just a little bit more. And this is from the Bloom set of foam stamps. I'm going to ink, quote unquote, ink up my foam stamp with the acrylic paint. And then I'm just going to stamp it on right there. And there you can see you get a really nice two-tone effect with the foam stamps. Now, because we are using such little paint, you can see the foam stamps look almost completely clean. But just to clean them off just a little bit more, just spray them with a little bit of water and wipe with a paper towel, and they'll be perfectly clean. And then again, you can just put this foam into a Ziploc bag, and then as you switch colors, you're ready to go. So it's just a really great way to add color to your foam stamps using the small bottles of paint, the ink blending tool, and the craft stick.